But life is not about deleting things. Life is about dealing with them. Yes, we've all made mistakes. Yes, we've all done things that if we had a rewind button, we would rewind and do it differently. We've all had experiences in life that were not necessarily our fault, that happened to us, done by others, done by the universe. Yeah, there's a few computer keys and shortcuts that it would be just so wonderful to bring into life. Delete is certainly one of them. But life is not about deleting things. Life is about dealing with them. And there's nothing that we can't deal with. You don't have to delete them. You just have to deal with them. Yes, we've all made mistakes. Yes, we've all done things that if we had a rewind button, we would rewind and do it differently. We've all done things that we feel guilt about, maybe even shame about. This is part of human nature. We've all had experiences in life that were not necessarily our fault, that happened to us, done by others, done by the universe. That again, if we had a rewind button, we would rewind and undo that. But we can't. Life has no delete button, no rewind button, no do-over button. And so we have to just deal with them. And recognize that they are not you. I remember many years ago, Puja Swamiji and I went to visit a jail near San Francisco. A devotee was working in the jail and invited us to go. And so it was an optional time for the prisoners. Obviously, it wasn't mandatory. And they had a lot of different religious people who went, typically pastors and ministers and priests. And we were told later that usually, 3, 4, 6 people would show up to see the minister or the priest. And every single person came to this. Everyone. There was not any cell that wasn't open. Like the hall was packed. And Puja Swamiji said something really, really, really powerful to them. I mean, he said so much that was powerful, but one line sticks out specifically. He said, "You are not your crimes." He said, "You're here because of a crime that happened through you. But you are not the crime. The crime is this much. You are this much." And he said, yeah, you're stuck here until the karma of that crime finishes itself. But stop thinking of yourself as that crime and realize that you are this much. And that's the same lesson for all of us, whether it's something that we've done, maybe not something that actually landed us in jail, but nonetheless something that we wish we hadn't done, or whether it's something that happened to us purposely by another being, or just by the universe. Our house burned down, our loved one died, whatever it may be, these things happen in life. To recognize we are not. We're not that action that we did. We are not that tragedy that befell us. We don't want to delete it because it happened. It's part of the package of our karmic experience on planet Earth. If it happened through us or to us, clearly there is a lesson in it for us. But we need to figure out how to grow from it, with it, around it. I was studying neurology. That was my academic background. And one of the things that I love about neurology is how the brain works when it gets injured. And so, for example, if the part of the brain that's dedicated to sight gets injured, gets damaged, so that the person can no longer see, the person goes blind, something very interesting happens, which is that the parts of the brain dedicated to hearing or smell, they grow. They start taking over the area that used to be dedicated to sight. So we actually have this capacity to grow into our own injuries, to grow into our own losses, to grow into those difficulties. It's not that suddenly that part of the brain is damaged and it's just dead and over. The brain is a constantly living, changing sort of organism of its own. And we're constantly changing and adapting and growing based on what is happening in the brain. And of course, the younger you are, the more the brain is able to do this. But nonetheless, it stays constant throughout our lives. And so the same thing is true, not just in the actual neurons of our neural capacity, but in terms of our whole karmic life. When there are these injuries, these assaults, this damage, whether because I've done something that I really regret and it's killing me with guilt, or because this terrible thing has happened to me, the question is, how can the rest of me grow and change into this damaged part, such that who I am is fuller and deeper than I was before? So think about it in that way, is how do you move forward? Don't think about deleting it, but think about moving forward. One of my favorite stories of this is a story about Maharishi G, who used to live just a couple of ashrams down from us at what's now sadly called the Beatles ashram. I mean, it's not sad. It's great that the Beatles were here, and it's wonderful that people are interested in seeing the ashram. It's sad because ultimately it was Maharishi G's ashram, and there was so much more to him than simply having been the guru of the Beatles. But in any case, Puja Swamiji tells a beautiful story about him because they knew each other well. And Puja Swamiji was there one day when Maharishi Ji was given the news that his secretary had just stolen some huge sum of money from the ashram bank accounts and had run off. And the person comes in, his assistant comes in, panicked to give the news, like, oh my God, you're this trusted person, just this huge sum of money, stole it, has run off. And Maharishi Ji sat there very calm, very quiet. And eventually he said, she must not have been meditating. Right? I mean, I love that. Just like his heart was sort of broken in compassion for the fact that someone could fall so low as to steal money. Not, oh my God, the you-know-what, how dare they betray me? But just, must have not been meditating. So that's what we're looking for. Was that ability, that equanimity that Bhagavan Krishna speaks about in the Gita. Yeah, things happen in life. Life happens. We happen to our own life. But how can you maintain that state of equanimity? Not indifference, not apathy, not callousness, not disconnection. full presence, full connection, full spectrum of possibility of feeling and thought and emotion, but not tossed around like the waves of the ocean on the whim of someone else or something else.